What's up, guys? Eli here. I got a collection update video for you. Though I didn't think I was buying very much stuff over the last month or so. I guess I kind of looked over and I had a kind of a decent stack, so I figured I'll make a fucking video. Nothing too special, I guess you could say. All CDs, pretty much. I'd really like to buy more vinyl these days, and I've said that I was going to. I really want to, but just, man, it's just certain times of the year where I don't have as much expendable income. I gotta stick to like cassettes and CDs, and you know, I've been thinking about this for a long time actually. There's a lot of people right now, and maybe even in the last 5 years, and there's nothing wrong with this. I'm not bashing on anyone specifically, but there's been kind of a big like as far like in the collector realm, music collector realm, CDs are kind of uncool right now. Cassettes are sort of cool since they've been making their comeback, and I get that as someone that started collecting music through cassettes. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's cool that there's been a resurgence. I've never been the biggest vinyl collector. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I don't have the biggest vinyl collection, and I haven't even really been collecting vinyl for all that long. But anyways, my point being is there's lots of people, and once again, I'm not bashing on anybody. This is not any kind of a negativity rant, but there's a lot of people that are, of the opinion or, expressing their disinterest in the CD format. And what I have to say about that is, first of all, for me, it's all about owning the music physically. It's not that big a deal to me whether I have it on cassette or vinyl. Cassettes being very cheap, CDs being in the middle, and vinyl being really fucking expensive. It's very cool to look at, it's very fun to listen to, but it's fucking expensive. And for me, it's just really about owning it on a physical format, no matter what it is. And another thing is, I know CDs might seem uncool right now to a lot of people. They're kind of, I guess you could call it kind of a dying format, sort of. But at the same time, you know what? Guess what was a dying and actually almost completely dead format at one point? Cassettes. There was a time when nobody gave a fuck about cassettes because something better was being produced. There was a time when vinyl became very uncool and all but extinct as well. So I feel like in this age of things repeating themselves or coming full circle, I feel like there's going to be a time when CDs probably will be like a cool hipster thing to have. And I guess, I'll be I'll be king hipster at that point. I do have a lot of CDs. Most of my, I don't like hipsters. Anyways, I do have a lot of CDs, and most of my collection, 90% of it's CDs. So anyway, it's not really a rant. I'm not angry or anything, not trying to sound elitist or negative. But, yeah, it's just been something that's been crossing my mind for the last couple of years. But anyways, if there's anyone watching that just is purely interested in music more than what I have to say, I might have lost a lot of you. I say that a lot in my videos, but I always have at least a few of you that hang on. So, let's get on to the stack. By the way, we're listening to, what is this called? Journey into Horizons Lost, I think it's called. Demo by Black Funeral, American black metal band. Never considered America. It's my country that I live in. Never considered us to be one of the better countries as far as black metal is concerned, or anything else. But anyways, we do have our claim to fame with certain albums and certain bands. The Black Funeral is definitely one of them. We have a lot of shit black metal, I think, but some good stuff. Love Black Funeral though, always have. Anyways, music. Quit talking. Music. All right, I got a couple new releases here. These are really in no order at all. It's just literally a little stack. But there are several new releases, with, some old stuff. There's even a reissue in there. But anyways, fuck, I ramble way too much. We have something that I've been waiting for a long time for this, and I'm glad to really to finally have it. We have the new Summoning album, With Doom We Come. They had been talking about this, I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, for a year or two now, I think. But anyways, I really am a big fan of Summoning. I'm always excited to have new material from them. It had been between their last few albums, it's been a pretty long wait. I think it'd been 5 years since their last album, and the album before that, I think it was 7 years. So that's, it's 3 albums in 12 years. Not that bad, but still, those are some pretty big gaps. Yeah, I've only listened to it once, and I really dig it. I mean, there's no summoning to me that's bad. Cool pictures of Selenia and Protector there. This is via Napalm Records, which I think they've put out everything. I think they've been signed to only this one label. Could be wrong, but anyways, listen to it once. I really like it. It's more of the same as far as their current summoning sound is concerned. Yet it sounded fresh to me, and it did sound like I still need to listen to it 3 or 4 more times to really fully digest it. But it does sound like there are some different, and I don't really know how to elaborate on that, but different elements. It sounded fresh to me. It didn't sound like a carbon copy of any of their previous albums. So, it's good. It's good. It's summoning, and it's good. Excited to listen to it a couple more times in the next few weeks, hopefully. Now we have, as I've said in my last few videos, I've been getting into Kansas lately. Never really had listened to them before the last year, really, not even a year. But I'm really getting into this band, and I'm kind of shocked that I avoided them for this long, because when I was younger, getting into music as a child, I really loved classic rock, and I don't know what, they just eluded me for some fucking reason. So I got Point of No Return, which is some of you guys can tell me better. I want to say it's their 4th album, but maybe their 3rd. I can't say for sure. But 1977, this is a re-release, of course, but this album is best known for it's got Dust in the Wind on there, which is a fantastic song. Everyone knows that. I've listened to it only one time. I really dig it. So far, their self-titled is my favorite by far. Leftoverature, I think, might be my number 2, and so far this is probably my number 3, but very, very good. Glad to have it. Excuse me, Louis. Fucking Louis is taking up space here. I'm trying to put my CDs down. Louis is right there. You can't see him. Anyways, all right. Next up, watching my videos in the last couple months, you've also probably heard me mention my slow 20-year descent into the world of prog. Very slow. It's a genre I've always been interested in, but I've been really fucking slow at really getting into it. But I'm doing it. And I picked up randomly this CD the other day. This is the band I've known of really not for that long, maybe 5 years or so. I've never heard a single note of any of their music, but I bought this on a whim because I've heard it's pretty good. The band being Marillion, Misplaced Childhood. Look at that weird fucking cover. I don't know when this came out. I don't know much about this band. I think it came out in '85. But anyways, British. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's a British prog band. Know nothing about them, but I've heard pretty good things. And I've heard this album is some of their best stuff. So picked it up just fucking completely randomly. I wasn't even looking for it. Found it at a store. Next up, we'll call this a new release, but it's months old by now, if not more. I don't remember exactly when. This came out in 2017. I've listened to it one time, so I can't go into it in too much detail. That is the most recent album by Necro Rich, Satanic Slavery. Necro Rich are a French Black Death type band. Kind of an unusual sound for France in general. And correct me if I'm wrong, I might just not be that well versed in the current French bands. But I have heard a lot, and this doesn't sound like a typical band that would come out of France. It's much more bestial, savage, absolutely savage Black Death metal. I have their first album, and they put out some stuff in between their first album and this newest one. They put out like a compilation, I think, of like earlier EPs, and another full length, I'm pretty sure, in between also that I never got, and nor have I ever heard. Seasons of Mist. I I've only listened to it one time so far. It just pretty much sounds like more of the same. These guys aren't trying to, be innovative or anything like that. They're just trying to, and they're succeeding in just crushing skulls. It's very brutal stuff. So if you like brutal Black Death metal, go for it, man. It's good stuff. I have 2 of their albums, and I'd gladly buy more. Next up here, this is easily one of my favorite Doom albums of all time, and I have never owned it, which is really retarded and totally typical of me. But yeah, I'm really excited to have it. I found it just randomly at one of my local shops, and of course I grabbed it as quick as I possibly could. Electric Wizard, Witch Cult Today. This is, for me, this is hands down the best Electric Wizard album. I know. Dope Throne, everyone loves it, and I do too. And it could be that this is the album that I first heard from the band. It blew me away, though. And for me, this is just, as far as Electric Wizard goes, this is everything that I want to hear from them is on this album. This is the style that I want them to play, and they have deviated from it a little bit lately, and that's all right. I mean, I'd rather a band do what they want to do as opposed to pleasing certain fans. But if you haven't heard this, and you have heard Electric Wizard, and you haven't heard this album, this is I think this is like the pinnacle of that very psychedelic sound, long droning moments of just psychedelic atmosphere, lots of. I'm really bad at describing things. You would know that if you've seen any of my videos. But anyway, it's psychedelic without being too out there and too long-winded, but with catchy choruses and vocals, and I love the song titles: Dunwich, Satanic Rites of Drugula, Torquemada 71, Black Magic Rituals and Perversions, Saturnine. I mean, yeah, it's just, for me, I mean, I haven't heard too many people agree with this opinion, but for me, this is their best album. I know I said that 7 times, but that's how I talk, I guess, man. I'm probably half retarded, and I just don't know it. Next up, I have been kind of, I don't know. I went through kind of I'm not really a phase guy. I don't go through phases. I like things, and usually I like them forever. But anyways, when I was younger, probably, 18 through 21, 22, I kind of got into some punk, and I barely scratched the surface, and I really haven't listened to a whole lot since then. There have been, there are certain bands that stuck with me and forever. I still like Bad Religion a lot. I've always been a big Misfits fan, love Misfits, and select few others. But lately, I don't know, I've been kind of delving back into the into the punk stuff just a little more, just to see what have I missed. I'm sure there's a lot. Really been digging Ramones lately. I never had listened to the Ramones other than their the handful of songs that fucking everybody knows, household names. But been kind of digging into their back catalog, and been pretty surprised at how much I like some of it. I know I'm talking about the Ramones. I don't actually have any to show you. I'm just saying that's an example. But I randomly picked this up at one of my shops the other day. This case has seen better days, but the booklet and CD and inserts and everything are in good condition. We got Descendants, Milo Goes to College. This is an original SST release. And to be honest, I haven't listened to it yet. I bought it like maybe less than a week ago. If anyone's into punk, you will know this, obviously. Even those of you that aren't into punk, you have seen this on t-shirts for your whole life. It's a big classic for a lot of punk fans. I figured, it was like $5. I figured I'll buy it. If I don't like it, I'll trade it, or I'll give it away to one of you fine fellows or something like that. Next up. I don't know why I haven't owned this album. I don't think I've ever owned it. I could be wrong. I might have owned it at one point. Anyways, it wasn't in my collection. I was kind of shocked when when reality kind of set in. But anyways, Judas Priest, Delivering the Goods. Fuck. I love not Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather. I am a big Judas Priest fan. This is probably the only album, at least of their classic era, that I don't have or didn't have. I have it now. Yeah, I think at this point the only Judas Priest studio album I don't have. I don't have the newest one, which I'm not opposed to buying, and I thought it was decent. Don't have that one, and I don't have the second Ripper album, Demolition, because I remember it when it came out, and it had some moments on there that I liked, but it was a more, I don't know, it was a flop, basically. I don't know. Some of you guys might like it, and that's cool. I love Jugulators, so hey, I'm not judging. But yeah, classic 70s Priest. Jesus. Stupid for me of not having it. I had to have owned that at some point. But anyways, I was going through my collection, and it wasn't there. Yeah, I got it now. All right. Here's one. This is kind of a weird buy for me in a way. And you guys will understand here in a minute. Because this is the only album that this band ever did that I liked. I really don't like anything else other than this, but this album I think is fantastic. Sacred Reich, Ignorance. I've made fun of this band a lot in the past, even because I mean, some of their stuff that came after this I think is just absolute garbage. No offense if you're a Reich fan, but yeah, this album is it's pretty fucking awesome. This is it's a Metal Blade repress. Digipack, but it's a fairly sturdy digipack. It's kind of a thicker cardboardy material. So I'm actually, yeah, I'm pretty happy to have that. And it came with something pretty cool too. The booklet on the inside is a poster as well with the original. Isn't this the original? This is the Ignorance artwork that I remember. The one that I just showed you. I don't know if that is the actual original or if that's an alternate cover. I remember the cover looking like this. So pretty cool to have that as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I always remembered. But yeah, it's cool, very cool. I'll probably hang that up or something. Classic Thrash. Like I said, that's the only thing I like that they ever did, but it's a banger for sure, man. Here's another new release. I think this might be the only other new release I have in that stack, which is almost done. And I haven't listened to this yet because goddamn, I'm fucking slow as shit. But I do love this band. Got the new Chaos Moon album. What is it even called? Eschaton Memoir. Chaos Moon. U.S. black metal that is actually very good. God, I can't remember. Languish. Something Languish. One of their older albums. Languor into... God, I'm going to stop because I'm just retarded. But anyways, that album in particular, look it up. Languor something. That is actually I don't know, that's one of my favorite black metal albums probably of the last 15 years or so. Very, 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 very atmospheric, very dreamy, lush, dreamy, atmospheric tones. It's got a lot of sound clips from what movie was that? Memento, which I didn't know for the longest time. I actually had to research that, but just the way that those sound clips are incorporated in the album, and I don't know, I would listen to that album a lot when I was getting ready to fall asleep, and it would just kind of put me into a trance. But anyways, I've been hearing great fucking things about this album. Like I said, I haven't listened to it yet. I just dropped it. This came out on Blood Music. Which is a label out of Finland, I think. Hearing really good things about this. I don't know if I've seen it on a whole lot of like year-end lists, but just reviews that I've read, nothing but positive. A lot of people have been raving about it. Glad to have it. Should probably listen to that today, so I don't wait another year. I'll buy it. I'm just weird like that. I'll buy a lot of new releases, and sometimes I won't even listen to them for like 2 years just because I'm too busy listening to, old shit. I showed this in my last video, I think, so I don't know if this... I don't know. It was in my stack, so I'll show it again. Sanctuary, Inception. This came out last year, I believe. It's... correct me if I'm wrong, but it's... I think it's songs from around the time of their first album, but they're not, I don't want to say re-recorded, but they're remixed. All right, I'll just read the back to you. It's what it says all songs recorded at Studio One in White Center, Washington in '86, engineered by Paul Krisman. So yeah, these were recorded originally in '86, but they were remastered in 2016. Some of these songs appear, if I remember correctly, on their first album. I want to say there are some songs on here that aren't on any of their albums. But anyway, I really do like the early Sanctuary stuff. And oddly enough, I recently kind of listened to that last album they did a couple years back, and it was the Death of the Sun or something like that. It wasn't that bad. I expected it to be a piece of shit. It wasn't a piece of shit. It was pretty decent, I thought. But anyway, it was cool to have this. And like I said in one of my last videos, I don't know if I've even uploaded it yet. Sometimes I record videos and I don't upload them in the order that I recorded them in. But anyways, if you haven't seen the part where I talked about Warrell Dane from Sanctuary and Nevermore, passed away recently. So yeah, my condolences go out to his family and friends, of course. Nevermore. I used to listen to a lot of Nevermore years and years ago. I haven't for a long time, but after news of his passing, I was kind of like, wow, it's kind of surreal when somebody dies, somebody that you've, enjoyed a lot of their work. And I kind of went and re-listened to some of those earlier Nevermore albums, and I still really dig them. Just something that I hadn't listened to in a long time. I prefer Sanctuary, but Nevermore had some good shit too. So that's it for my CDs. I do have just a couple DVDs if you want to hang in there for that, because I've been showing I really only buy horror DVDs, and so I've been kind of showing them as I've been getting them lately too. And I do have I got a decent, you can't see it, it's up here. I have a decent horror collection. It's not crazy big, but it's decent, and I might delve into that someday. This movie, I've been wanting to get this for a long time. Watched it, I think it was on Netflix for a long time when it was fairly new. And this movie got a lot of attention, and I think that it was a lot of hype. I think it lived up to it. You guys can tell me how you feel if you've seen it. And a lot of if you guys are horror fans, you've likely seen this as well. I saw The Devil. This is correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a Korean movie. The director, Kim Ji-woon, I think is his name, has done some other good shit. This is a very good movie. It's I'm not really going to go into talking too much about it, but it's very violent, very brutal, as you would expect from most Asian cinema. But it's really good. A lot of people consider it like a modern classic or a future classic or whatever. But check it out if you like horror. Absolutely. And as you guys know, I've been talking about. I've been really kind of re-watching and digging the Friday the 13th movies. I've been kind of slowly buying them all. I got kind of. I just saw this at Walmart and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just end that search for the old ones." I bought the first 3, but this one right here has 8 of them, and in typical Walmart fashion, this was like fucking $2 or some shit. So, yeah, this has first 8 Jason movies. So yeah, I got that. I also picked this up because I remember these movies. I remember seeing, I don't know, maybe parts of them, and I don't remember specifically really digging them too much, but I was like, fuck, this is also like $4 or some shit, so I'll buy it and rewatch it and see what I think. That is House and House 2 packaged together. I have watched the first one in its entirety, and I don't know, man, it's considered a classic by a lot of people, but I really just don't care for it at all. And it might be a lot of those older movies, a lot of those older horror movies are only really good if you watched them when they were new, in the 80s and shit. I didn't, so I'm watching this now for the first time, at least in its entirety. I really didn't like it that much, if at all. And I haven't watched the second one, but I don't really even feel the need to watch it. But I probably will, because why not? But anyways, what do you guys think of House? I'm sure there are some of you that will chime in that probably love it and consider it an all-time classic, and that's totally cool. But for me, it just didn't do anything for me. Anyways, I've been rambling on for 24 fucking minutes now, which is weird. I gotta get ready and go do some shit. So, as always, thanks for watching. I have recently hit 400 subscribers, which is pretty cool and pretty shocking because, first of all, I never thought I would ever get more than maybe 50. But second of all, I don't know what the reasoning is, but I lose probably like 10% of my subscribers. I feel like anytime I gain, 5 or 10, I always lose 1 or 2. So I'm always like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But it really doesn't mean anything to me because I always get at least 3 or 4 of you guys talking to me on every video I make, and that's plenty. It's fun, and I really enjoy it. And once again, I probably said this before, but I'm really impressed with this kind of YouTube community. At least the small circle that I have interacted with. Nothing but positivity and camaraderie, and just all around good people. Which is honestly, I kind of needed that in my life. I'm kind of a negative person. I might not show that side of me too much on this channel because I don't want to, but I really do think that most people are very, I don't know, I don't take any interest in them. I think a lot of people are shit people, and like I said, I kind of needed this kind of reminder that, well, not all people are bad, and there are a lot of fucking cool people in this world, and I'm glad to have interacted with some of you. So yeah, it's been a good thing for me. I'll quit rambling, and we'll see you guys in the next video, I guess. I got plenty more I got saved that I need to upload. So I was going to send some shout outs, I guess, but I don't remember who they were. I have mentioned a lot of YouTubers in the past, if you've caught on to that or not. But one that I've been watching lately, and it might have, it's kind of part of the reason why I've been kind of gaining some interest once again in like punk and hardcore. If you guys don't know Jason Hook, check out his channel. His channel is called Get Into It with Jason Hook. I'll try to leave a link, but I always forget to do that I'll try to leave a link, but just look that up. Type in Get Into It. Guy's name is Jason Hook. Like I said, I've watched a handful of his videos so far, probably pushing 10. He says that he uploads a pretty good variety of music, and that might be true, but all I've really seen, mostly 99% so far, has been punk and hardcore, so clearly that's his forte, and that's totally fine. I'm not well versed in those genres, but if that was all he talked about, I'd be okay with it because he's so fucking good at it. He right next to like Pat from Ground Zero Salem and Eric Bauer, this guy is an absolute encyclopedia of punk rock and hardcore, and not surprisingly, but I don't know 95% of the bands that he talks about, and it just doesn't matter because I like hearing what he has to say. He's got some really obscure vinyl from old punk bands. He's got a bunch of cool records that it's refreshing for me because, like I said, I don't know much about punk, and it's cool that he doesn't, he's not showing much stuff that everyone has. He's showing stuff that, like I said, I've never even heard of. So if you're into punk and hardcore, you need to check this guy out. I'm sure it will interest you. So it interests me, and I'm no expert. So anyways, that is it. I'm done rambling. I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for stopping by. Cheers.